And we are back now into the second half of our show tonight here on this Valentine's Day, talking with Sterling Wrestling, and we're not that far away from them getting underway at noon tomorrow. So what is that, 17 hours from now, and it won't be very long before Manny Renteria is on the mats early in his 113-pound first-round matchup. And so we've got Manny Renteria here, along with Oren Adolph, our first ever girls qualifier, and Kaylee Green, and then we've also got Audrey Morales joining us here. So Manny, first, thanks for being here this evening.
Thanks for having me.
And we were just talking here, you've been so good all season long, only a handful of losses, but you haven't been able to break through and get that tournament win. What were you feeling? What was the feeling going into Friday, knowing that, I don't know how much you pay attention to Tim Young and his rankings, but he had a couple of the younger guys from Valley and Fort Morgan ahead of you. Did you know that going in, and was that a motivating factor going in?
I definitely knew that the Valley kid was ranked higher than me. It's one of my few losses I've had, but I've talked to the Fort Morgan kid during weigh-ins and found out that he was ranked higher than me. I think that really fueled me to beat him in the semifinals and wrestle back, and I was mainly focused on the finals match the whole time.
And how tough is it to show up to an event where usually as a 113er, hey, first 20, 25 minutes at worst, you're on the mats, but just the way things worked out, you had a first round bye with a lot of the guys, so you have to sit there for a couple hours, and that first round just seemed to just grind on forever. So what did you do to just keep yourself focused on and locked in and ready to go for that first quarterfinal match?
So even though I had a first round bye, I still got a good warm up in, got a sweat in, and then I think I just sat down at our camp and did nothing.
Just kind of just vegging out, right? Just hanging out and not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
And then you come back on Saturday, and as you mentioned, the Fort Morgan kid, Christopher won. You guys had a tightly contested bout. It seemed like that first period, you both were just on your feet, hands swiping at each other. It seemed like you kind of wore them out a little bit. Was that the strategy going in, or is that just kind of how it worked out in the match?
My strategy was to, because I got friends in Fort Morgan, and I would tell them stories and hope that they would tell them, or tell him, and it looked like he was kind of scared to wrestle me at first because he was walking up and down, just staring me down. I was like, okay, I'm already in his head. So when I went onto the mat, my first thing was make him angry. If he's angry, he's not thinking right, he's already scared of me. And get in his head as much as I can and wait till he messes up and use that to my advantage.
I want to hand it to Oren Adolph. We'll talk to Manny about his regional championship here in a few minutes. So, Oren, for you, the same question. I mean, Manny has to sit and wait there a couple hours. You were one of the last ones on the mats at the very end there, so you had to sit. I mean, you guys were, there at 2 o'clock, and you're not wrestling till almost 9 in the evening. So how in the world do you keep yourself focused and preoccupied and knowing that you got to go out in that first match? And we talked about it last week, how important it is to just go out and win that first one to make life easier on you on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, first round bye can be good or bad for you. I mean, definitely can't be lazy. You got to get up, get your sweat in, and definitely get a good workout in when you get there. And honestly, just relax, get focused, and lock in for what's next, I guess.
And the good thing is you guys stayed overnight, had that planned already with the snowstorm that came in. And thankfully, I was able to stay at Eaton as well with the snow that hit the area. And then you come back in your semifinal match, and I'm looking here, you got Sam Stockton of Res Christian there, and it was a tightly contested match. You take a 2-0 loss in the first period, but then you were able to make it a 1-point match. You go into that third period, you're able to tie things up and force overtime there. So talk me through that match. How did you feel like you did there, and knowing that was one of your tougher matchups that you were going to have on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I wrestled the res heavyweight all year, so I really didn't see the Stockton kid. So going into it, I didn't have a lot of film on him or anything like that. But definitely giving up that first period takedown was tough. I mean, whenever you got to wrestle back into it, it's tough. And so I guess the first period, yeah, he just got after me, and then I put him on his back, couldn't get the fall, so ran out of time on that. So missed a second period opportunity, I guess, to get a pin, and then going into the third period, got out. Just couldn't take him back down, so tied it up, and then overtime just gave up another takedown.
And how nerve-wracking is that when you get to an overtime and know that, oh man, it's just one takedown and I'm locked into the state tournament, or I get taken down and then I got more work to do to even just get myself into the state tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. That kid, strong kid, pretty good wrestler, and I mean, it was like it was disappointing because I've been in a lot of overtime matches and I've been on both sides, the winning side and losing side of those, and so it was tough knowing, you know, your spot isn't locked in. You gotta wrestle back now, so that was tough. But.
And what was Coach Garcia's message to you? What did the coaches say to you coming off that match? I know you were a little frustrated, obviously, when you're that close to getting yourself locked in, and you got to do all that extra work then because of that. What did they say to you to try to get you locked back in and ready to go to make sure you go get your state bid?
Just forget it. Move on. I think that's the biggest thing. Coach Garcia tells us, you know, if you end up on the consolation side, just, you know, you have work to do and forget your loss and keep working and get into your state qualifying matches, getting your placing rounds on the consolation side was probably his biggest thing.
And then you come out in that next match against Harold McLean of Fort Lupton, you jump out to a 5-0 lead, able to maintain that, and then you put him away, beat him 12-3. What did that do for your confidence to come right back like that and have such a dominant win in a situation where, you know, if you lose that one, then you have no control of whether or not you get to wrestle back again for a state bid?
Yeah, I mean, I think losing to Stockton in the semis kind of lit a fire under me for the next day to, you know, just get after him and get to work because you can't mess around at those tournaments. You got to get after it. So I think that was the biggest motivator for me.
I want to hand it to Kaylee Green for the first time, the sophomore that has been the leader all season for Sterling Girls Wrestling. And we talked with Kaylee just a couple of weeks ago getting ready for this. And, you know, we've got 70-plus years on the wrestling room. When the boys' side can look all the way back to the 1950s, they got names there. So 70 years from now, they'll still be talking. Kaylee Green was the first to ever do it. Scary to think I'll be getting ready to turn 101 years old 70 years from now. But Kaylee, for you, stepping on the mats at Fort Lupton, that first matchup on Friday, did the nerves feel different, or were you able to convince yourself, hey, this is just any other match, or did it feel a little bit different being out there?
It felt different, but I was able to just get back into the normal groove of the normal tournament.
And now it wasn't a big number of girls in your weight class there, so you were able to lock yourself in already on Friday. So how many matches did you have to wrestle in on Friday?
I had one.
Just the one? And so did you go out and win that one then?
Yes.
So what did that do for your confidence going into Saturday? Did you already know? Did they come and tell you, hey, you're already locked into state, or did they not let you know early on?
Garcia let me know that I only had 4 other girls in my bracket, so I knew
Gotcha.
winning one, I'd go to state.
Gotcha. So it was just 5 girls to go for, you know, 4 spots there to get in. So how much easier was it on Saturday going in knowing, hey, you know, I can just go out here and compete a little bit and just get more experience and not have to worry about going and fighting for a state bid?
Saturday was a lot harder on me because I had more matches that day,
Gotcha.
and I didn't take it as seriously as I should have.
So what have you learned, I guess, lesson-wise for next year when you're in that situation, if it is a smaller bracket again and you get yourself locked in to try to go out and maybe even go for a regional championship?
Yeah, I feel like I should definitely, like, not get in my head and not stare at somebody and, like, talk about what they have that I don't have that they could use against me.
And so what were you trying to do? Again, I'm sure there was a lot of waiting there. CD Ball made a good run at her bracket, just came up short in 5th place. A lot of the girls going out there and competing first time in postseason wrestling. What did you try to do to try to be, and we've already talked about it, you being one of the leaders on this team and just trying to help motivate them and fire them up going through their matches?
I cheered on the sidelines for all of them because it's just something you should do for your team. It makes you feel special when you can look at your teammates and see them cheering for you on them.
I want to hand it over to the first time for Audrey Morales. And Audrey, unfortunately, was it a shoulder injury that ended your season a little bit early here this year?
Yep.
So what happened there? Was it just in an actual wrestling match, practice? What did you do to your shoulder?
I had to sit out last year for my junior year as I had a shoulder injury, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and it kept popping up, and I'm trying to go into the Marines,
Yeah.
and they're not going to accept me if I kept popping it out and had it on my record. So I had to make the career choice and give up wrestling, but I still stayed to help the girls out.
I know just a few weeks ago we were talking at Platte Valley when they were wrestling the triangular there. You were the loudest one there, cheering them on, coaching them during the matches. And how tough was that to just kind of have to swallow your pride and say, hey, I can't compete anymore, but I'm still going to be here and still be a part of this team as long as I can?
It was really hard for me at first, but then I realized that I still get to be part of their success and help them grow as wrestlers, as this is the first girls team. So it was pretty cool to watch them like kick butt
Mhm.
at any wrestling competition that they had.
And we talked about it before a few weeks ago. We had you on, Audrey, and we talked about you were kind of the bridge over because you were competing on the boys team the last couple of years just to compete in wrestling, and then finally we have this team that is a full-on girls team. And so, how much did you enjoy, even though you didn't get the full season, to at least participate and be a member of this inaugural team?
It was really fun. I got to meet a lot of girls. I'm not really friends with many girls, but these girls are definitely going to be part of my family, just like the boys team.
And how excited are you to watch this program? I know Coach Garcia is excited for some of the ladies he's got coming up through the middle school right now program. How excited are you to watch this continue to foster and grow here over the next few seasons?
It's really awesome. Like, they had 686 participants for girls wrestling this year in the state of Colorado, which was amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know there were 26 teams at the Fort Lupton regional competing this weekend. And want to hand it over to Manny Renteria once again. And so, Manny, we now go on to the regional championship match for you on Saturday night. When did you learn that you were going to be the first match up there with the healthy, or I guess the medical scratch, I should say, at the 106ers? Did you realize that early on? Did they tell you before, or was it just, hey, the guy's walking out there getting his hand raised, and I guess I'm going now?
It was completely out of the blue. I mean, we did the Parade of Champions, and he didn't say anything because I talked to the 106.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say a single word about it, and then I'm warming up, feeling right, and then he goes out there, and then all I hear is forfeit, forfeit, and I look up, and he's already getting his hand raised, and I was like, all right, you don't have time for this, lock in. I pulled my shorts off, put my singlet up, and went out and got to work.
Yeah, it caught me off guard because I was sitting there. I'm like, I'm not live yet because I'll wait and see how the 106 match goes. If it looks like it's going to be an early pin, then I'll come in and set it up. And I was like, oh my God, Manny's going out there right now to start. So it was like as soon as the outro or the intro finished up, you were already first whistle going. And you're taking on Corral there of Valley. He gets an early shot on you, takedown, near fall combo, so you fall down 4-0 in the first 10 seconds. What's going through your mind at that point when you're on the mat trying to get yourself up and not get pinned in the opening few seconds here?
I really didn't know it was 4-0, but during the match, points aren't really going through my head. It's more of, okay, I need to be controlling this match. I need to be the one in the whole match itself. And I don't know, he took me down and he got the near fall points, and I was just, okay, you need to get off your back. You need to fight. You need to do whatever you can. And I ended up tossing him a little bit, taking off his balance, and got him on his back and just squeezed as hard as I could.
Yeah, because it was quick there. I think it was a minute 4 was the final pin. You guys pushed out to the left side, and you guys both go down to the mat, roll over each other, and then all of a sudden you slip right through, and the official was right there for the slap of the mat. And what goes through your mind when you hear that slap and realize right there in that moment that you're a regional champion?
During my matches, I kind of black out, tunnel vision. And as soon as I hear that slap, I come back and either I'm on my back looking up at the ceiling or I'm looking down at the mat. If I'm looking down at the mat, I know I did something right. Yeah, he slapped that mat, and as soon as he did, I think I jumped up and waved my arms in the air or something. But I was super excited because he had beat me early on in the season.
And how much did it mean to have Aiden Young there as the assistant coach watching on after all the success he's had in the last 4 years, the 4 previous years, 4 regional championships for him. Last year you were a 3rd place finisher in your regional, so what did that mean to you to have him there and get to celebrate with your teammates right away?
Being his wrestling partner for 3 years of his career, we created a special bond, and having him there really helped me because even before he was helping coaching, he was in my corner yelling at me, telling me what to do, and helping me win my matches. And I'm pretty sure that's how I got 3rd last year. Having him in my actual corner on the mat really helped.
And now Manny will be the number 2 seed going into his bracket, just one of 3 seniors at 113 pounds, and he'll take on Jackson Rugard of Grand Valley in the opening match tomorrow early afternoon. So it'll be about 12:20, anywhere between 12:20 and 12:45 or so that Manny will be on the mat. So Manny, being one of just the 3 upperclassmen, 113, it's usually a lot of younger guys that a lot of going to be first-time experience. How can you take advantage of that and make a run here and give yourself a chance of walking off with the state championship?
You know, I think being one of the older guys, you have more experience than they do, and you've seen a lot more and been in a lot more, so I really think they can't put me in anything I haven't seen yet, so.
And for you, I mean, a few months ago, we were talking that you were just going to wrestle in December and then be done and graduate. Can you believe you're at this point now where you got yourself set up pretty good to make a run here and get yourself a state championship?
No, I really can't, because after my matches at regionals and all the hugs I gave out, I was like, dang, I wasn't even going to wrestle this year, and I just won a regional championship, you know, it was so surreal.
And awesome to see, and hopefully you can follow up Cass Combs from a couple of years ago and be the latest Sterling Tiger champion. And Oren Adolph, if he's going to do it at 2:15, he's going to have a challenge right out of the gate tomorrow. He'll be towards the end of our first session. Oren, technically the 16 seed out of a 16-man bracket, will face on Abram Moore of Holy Family. So, Oren, for you, how much is it, hey, if I go out and win this thing, then who can I really fear in this bracket? Is that the attitude you have to take into tomorrow?
I mean, yeah. Both seniors, both wrestled quite a bit, so.
And you look at the 215-pound bracket, it's kind of the opposite of what Manny has to deal with, where it's all upperclassmen. I think there's 1 or 2 sophomores, but everything else, it's 13 juniors and seniors pretty much in your bracket. So it's a lot of guys that know what they're doing, a lot of experience, but you have the experience from last year too, just like Manny. You guys both won matches at Ball Arena. So how do you lean on that experience and use that this weekend, even if it's not a championship, to get a run and get yourself on the podium?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the goal right now, just go out there, wrestle the match. I mean, definitely having state matches, from the previous year under your belt helps with your confidence going in, for sure.
And does that make it easier knowing that, hey, it's probably going to be the toughest match right out of the gate, that it is the first one of the weekend, and your full energy, I'm sure the full juices are going to be flowing, ready to go with it just being back at the state tournament. So how do you use that energy and focus it on your opponent tomorrow in that first match?
I mean, yeah, we're both seniors, so let it fly, I guess.
And how much are you expecting to be a little more used to just the experience of being in Ball Arena? There's so much noise going on, 10 mats going at once. How much does last year do you think help with that you're going to be able to block that out and just focus on the task at hand?
Honestly, same thing Manny said, television, you just get, when you step on the mat, it's just, you got one goal in mind, and one job you need to do, so.
I want to hand it one more time to Kaylee Green. And Kaylee, for you going into this environment, the ladies' mats are usually the 2 in the middle, so you've got all the noise around you. So how are you expecting to try to handle that and get used to what the environment is at the state tournament for the first time?
I really don't listen to the crowd anymore. Like, I choose to block it out
Mhm.
and pick a specific voice to listen to. Most of the time it is Audrey or Evan. Very few times has it been Mercy.
And we've talked about that certain coaches' voices cut through, so Paul might be over with Oren basically at the same time anyway, just with you guys being more the top classes. So are you expecting it to be Audrey and Evan on your 2 chairs cheering you on and coaching you on in your first match tomorrow?
For sure.
And for Kaylee, looking at my notes here, again, first girl to qualify ever for the state tournament, taking forth in her regional. She'll take on Emma Roberts of Eagle Crest in the first round there. And so Emma Roberts, not the actress, I don't believe, but obviously she's a regional champion. And so Kaylee, how do you go out there and just say, hey, house money, leave it all out there and just try to do your best in this first match?
I'm not sure. I'll figure it out tomorrow when I get on the mat to go against her.
Fair enough. Plan on the fly here. And for you, Kaylee, going in first time as just a sophomore in the state tournament, have you set any goals for yourself? Is it just, hey, I'd like to get a win and get that confidence in that, or just go out and just compete as hard as you can in however many matches you have?
I would like to win at least one going into the first year. Or the first year for me going into state, I'd like to win one, and then I'd also like to just go out there and have fun, but show that I've learned something throughout the season.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming out here and chatting with me. Best of luck to all 3 of you. We're looking forward to seeing all your matches, and hopefully we're talking 2 weeks from tonight and talking the 3 state champions here. Sound like a plan? Alrighty, so that is Manny Renteria, Oren Adolph, and Kaylee Green, our 3 Tigers representing in the 2024 state tournament. And we'll take a final break, and when we come back, boys back.